Good evening, and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. A happy Mazingira Day to you who are watching us here at GBS TV. My name is Paul Madhenge, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Alan Kiama. Our first story, President William Ruto today led Kenyans in marking Mazingira Day, a national event dedicated to promoting climate action, tree planting, and sustainable living. The celebration was held at the State House in Nairobi, drawing thousands of participants from across the country. President Ruto, leading senior government officials, community leaders, and environmental activists, spearheaded the massive tree planting exercise amid accelerating Kenya's journey toward achieving 15 billion trees by 2032. In his address, the president called on Kenyans to take personal responsibility in protecting the environment, saying the fight against climate change cannot be left to the government alone. He also emphasized that environmental protection is not just an ecological duty, but also an economic opportunity.
Leo ni siku ya muhimu tena katika taifa letu la Kenya. Tumekubaliana na wizara ya mambo ya mazingira. Everybody should stand where they are standing. It's okay. You don't have to move. Mwambie huyu mtu anatangatanga, huyu mtu anatangatanga, anaenda wapi? So, leo ni siku tena ya muhimu ya mazingira katika taifa letu la Kenya. Katika kila primary school tunapanda miti katika ile mpango yetu ya taifa la Kenya ya kupanda miti bilioni 15 ambayo tuliamua ya kwamba kabla ya mwaka wa 2032 katika taifa letu la Kenya tuwe tumepanda miti bilioni 15, na ni kwa sababu miti ni ya muhimu. Leo katika primary schools zetu zote, siku hii moja, mpango yetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba tunapanda miti milioni 100 siku ya leo. Na katika kila primary school, mahali mtu amesomea, kila secondary school, mahali mtu amesomea, tunawaomba Wakenya wote, kila mmoja wetu aende katika shule amesomea, atusaidie kupanda miti katika mashule yetu. Tukiwa tunapanda miti vile vile katika sehemu zile zingine zote ambazo tumekubaliana tutapanda miti. Vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba tunapanda miti katika sehemu mbalimbali katika misitu yetu ambapo miti imekatwa. Tumekubaliana we are reforesting all the areas that initially had been deforested for one reason or another. We have agreed that we are going to look for sensitive areas, water catchment areas, watershed areas, and make sure that we plant trees, because trees are very important in matters to do with the environment of the Republic of Kenya. We are taking this step because climate change is a reality. The conversation globally, in every meeting, in every international conference, conversation that is going on globally is about.
Moving on to our next story, President William Ruto has praised the Kenyan African Union KANU for its historic role in shaping the country's leadership, saying, and I quote, "Hakuna kiongozi hajapitia KANU," end of quote. Speaking during a grassroots consultative meeting in Baringo County, the president urged KANU to join the government, emphasizing that its experience and legacy remain vital for Kenya's development agenda. Here are the details.
Ndio.
Na nyinyi msiwe na wasiwasi, kwa sababu ilibidi kwanza nipange mambo ya uchumi because we had a difficult time. Lakini sasa tumepangana vizuri, sasa uchumi iko sawa sawa. Mliona juzi barabara ile mliniuliza zote za Baringo, sasa nimetangaza niko na pesa ya kuwajengea. Muliona ama muona? Muliona? Sasa nimetangaza yote, kama kuna moja mbili imebaki nitanyorosha, alafu tutajenga. Mimi pia nimewapangia Kabarnet, tuweke stadium ya kisasa Kabarnet. Nilikuwa juzi na team kubwa ya mambo ya maji. That is my next plan ya mambo yenu ya maji. So barabara tumepanga, university iko hapo, maji iko hapo, electrification iko pale. Mimi nimefurahi sana kufika Baringo, kufika hapa Kabarak na kuzungumza na nyinyi. Nyinyi mnajua hakuna mtu wako kwa uongozi katika Kenya hii ambaye hajapitia chama ya KANU. Si ndio? Mimi nikiwa moja yao. Si ndio? So tunataka tufaulu tukiwa pamoja. We are not supposed to be a third world country. Na ili tuweze kusukuma mambo hiyo ya maendeleo, mimi nimeomba ya kwamba I need more hands. We need broader goodwill. Na ndio sababu tulitengeneza broad-based government ili tuhakikisha kwamba yale ambayo ni ya muhimu kwa Wakenya wote tuweze kusukuma iende mbele. This is not about individuals. This is not about personalities. This is not about parochialism or corners or regions. This is about Kenya. And I want to ask you, as the good people of the founding party of our nation, to accept for us to work together. Tunakubaliana? Mimi nataka tukubaliane na nyinyi. Mkubali ili sasa tuwe na formal engagement kati ya KANU, si ndio? Ili KANU sasa iwe part of the government of Kenya. So mnajua tuko na serikali ya mapana na marefu, inaitwa broad based.
Now moving on, 11 candidates have been cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to battle it out for the Unguja Parliament seat during next month's by-election. Peter has more on the same.
As by-elections in Unguja nears, today 6 more candidates, Lilian Akinyi of National Alliance Party, Moso Mondi of ODM, Orodio Odhiambo of Wiper, Maurice Okumu of Liberal Party of Kenya, and Crispino Duor Budo of KANU. 5 of the candidates, Benson Nabolo Otieno of United Green Movement Party, Eric Ofiro of Jubilee, Vincent Olengo of Kenya Moja, Frederick Ochelo of UDM, and Oliver Ochengo of National Liberal Party presented their papers to the constituency returning officer and were cleared yesterday.
So we are here to exercise the exercise. So far, it's smooth. They'll be here tomorrow to sign the code of conduct, which they are going to bind themselves, and that is all. That's our work. So we are just here to leo ni kuangalia that everything goes on well. Thank you.
Later, each of the candidates planted a tree at the IEBC compound, a sign of commitment to peace. Addressing the media, the IEBC offices in Unguja, Commissioner Mary Karen Sorobit called on the candidates to conduct their campaigns peacefully. Sorobit said that IEBC was committed to conducting free and credible by-elections both in Unguja and other areas where the elections will be taking place in November.
We've requested the candidate that they carry on their campaigns peacefully, and we've even gone further. They've planted a tree, a sign that they are going to bind themselves, that they'll hold and conduct themselves peacefully. And as IBC, we're giving you our assurance that we are impartial. We're just an impartial referee. Kazi yetu ni to make sure that we supervise election and people get the person they've elected.
The candidates later left to hunt for votes in convoys of vehicles. Addressing the public at Unguja, ODM candidate Moses Omondi, who was flanked by top party officials, among them Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Osotsi. Dr. Oburu Oginga called for peaceful campaigns during the party nominations to forget the past and join him in ensuring that the party retains the seat that was previously held by Energy Cabinet CS Opiyo Wandanyi.
I'm very humbled that I've been cleared by the IBC to run for the seat of the MP Ugunja. And thirdly, really, I want to thank the leaders that have accompanied me, led by my area, the Senate.
Matthew Perez for GBS News.
More from the county news. Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka, political advisor Farouk Kibet, and other leaders today attended a local artist empowerment program at Rai Stadium in Webuye. The leaders called for greater investment in the creative industry, urging the country to establish modern studios and support local musicians to produce unifying high-quality music that promotes talent and economic growth. Here are the details.
Shukuru mjumbe Didmas wa baraza, MCS wako hapa kwa kuwa wameona kuna haja, kuna taratibu kwamba wanamuziki pia wao waweze kunawirika jinsi wanamuziki kule Kongo wanapata kulisha watoto kupitia nyimbo zao. Hebu tupigie hao wanamuziki makofi. Vijana hoye. Hiyo ni sawa ama si sawa? Na wao wakiendelea hapa Bungoma, mimi nataka kusema ni sehemu ya wanamuziki. Ile inatakiwa wawe na studio mzuri. Ile inatakiwa wa record. Na wale wanaipa marekodi zenu wafungwe. Si ndio? Tumesema na nimeuliza governor na vile huyu kijana chairman ameomba kwamba iwekwe katika kwa mamlaka ya kaunti ya Bungoma, ili wanamuziki wakienda entertainment tuwe na pesa sawa na ile ya Nairobi, ile inaenda ku entertain president.
Now moving on, leaders from the Western region joined residents of Mada Shivanga in Kakamega County for a fundraiser to support the expansion of Mada Primary School. The initiative aims to create more learning space and improve education infrastructure, with leaders urging the community to champion local development through education and unity. Here are the details.
Manda Mungu akipenda. Hii area ni kubwa sana. Mtumie hii serikali kate Manda iwe another division. Ifika hapa hii mlima ikuje tu hapa iende Silungai, muache kwenda kuunganishwa na huko chini, si ati mnakawanyishwa. Services ikuje karibu kwa wananchi. Hiyo ndio maombi mimi naomba, sababu iko struggle mingi sana katika hii taifa la Kenya. So mimi nikikuja hapa, ninakuja nikijua kwamba lazima nifika hapa, watu wafurahi shule, washere wakienda nyumbani, waende pia na furaha. Ajabu moja ni kwamba Manda hapa walipata 1,000,000, Silungai 1,000,000, Shandije 1,000,000. Haikuwa na by election. Hiyo ni kukumbuka majirani. Watoto walio wakielemika, kesho ndio watatusaidia sisi. Nilijua kulikuwa hakuna, nilipoambiwa hii sehemu wameanzisha secondary school. Mimi nikiwa kwa hapa Andanje marehemu, nikasema kwamba hii shule ingefaa tuongeze, tupanue ili wapate shamba, ndio watoto wapate kupanuka kwa mambo ya elimu. Na hapa Manda watoto lazima ile heshima mwalimu tafanya, weka historia kwamba watoto wakitoka hapa wanakuwa number 1 katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Let us construct another classroom for the benefit ya wazazi hapa Manda. Thank you. Na leo nakupatia 500, mnunue shamba. Wapi hiyo 500? Nipeane mbele ya wazazi. Shule ijengwe ama isijengwe? Tununue shamba tusinunue? Sasa mbele ya Kola Chairman, ile muliniomba mununue shamba, mupanue shamba tena. Mimi nitakuja tena hapa Manda, tununue shamba mpaka tufike eka 10, ndio hii area ikae sawa sawa.
That education boost in Kakamega brings us to a very fast break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We'll be right back.
About being a miss or being a pageant queen, it is not just about wearing a crown or looking pretty on social media. It is about how much you can impact the community. What can you do with the title you hold? I'm actually a young model in the industry. I started modeling this year in school. Actually, I used to go to International Youth Fellowship where we had a modeling class. I used to study fashion and design, and we had a modeling class. So I am high fashion trained. On Instagram, kelly.omuhaya. On TikTok, Miss Omuhaya.
Now tell us about that moment when you had your name that you won Miss Kasarani 2025-2026.
What I would like to advise you is keep going. Keep going. Put God first. Be resilient. Be a go-getter. Find joy within yourself. Walk with pride. Chin up. Smile. You are a queen. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. That makes me always rise, knowing that I have something that is greater than what people can see.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap years. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun. Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin here at GBS TV Africa. We make your news our business. And now, to the international news. For the 30th consecutive day, protesters filled the streets of Morocco's capital on Thursday, demanding sweeping reforms in jobs, housing, healthcare, and education. The Generation Z-led movement, which began in later September, has rapidly spread to major cities, including Casablanca, as Susan Nganga now reports.
The protest in Morocco, led by youth movement known as Gen Z 212, entered their 13th day as of today. The movement is demanding broad reforms including improvements in jobs, housing, health, and education. These protests have gained momentum through decentralized anonymous organizing on social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, with a large participation of young people expressing frustration over high unemployment, corruption, and the government spending priorities.
Legitimate demands. We are not asking for anything extraordinary. We want healthcare, education, and jobs. We need to find solutions for internships.
The demonstrations, which started on September 27th, have seen both peaceful protest and clashes with security forces, leading to injuries, arrest, and sadly, the deaths of 3 protesters following violent confrontations in some cities.
Today we are demanding what we shouldn't have to ask for in the first place, but rather should have existed beforehand. What is happening now is unacceptable from the government. We shouldn't come out for health and education.
Protesters want King Mohammed VI to take the lead in addressing corruption and social issues. Despite the violence, the youth emphasize a largely peaceful movement aiming for systemic reforms, including demands for an impartial judiciary and better health and education infrastructure. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Morocco.
Now, on the same spirit, police have continued to use tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse agri-protest in Madagascar. The 2 weeks straight of anti-government protest that look not to be stopping any soon. So at least 1,000 protesters marching down its capital city, Antananarivo. They say the government has failed to live its mandate to provide basic human wants like water and electricity. They say corruption escalating in broad daylight. Our own reporter Matthew Perez has more on the same.
Since 25th of September 2025, protests have been rocking across the East African country of Madagascar. In the capital, Antananarivo, police were seen engaging in battles with picketers who relied on massful protection. The law enforcers firing rubber bullets and tear gas on Gen Z protesters who called on the resignation of President Andry Rajoelina, rubbishing his offers for dialogue. Businesses were also seen shut down along the streets.
We will have to close the restaurant because there are no more customers, you can't keep merchandise and there's no money. I support the protest because I'm a victim, I'm one of the victims.
This comes 3 days after embattled President Rajoelina appointed Army General Zafi Sambo in a bid to quell youth-led demos against his rule, saying that this move was necessary to restore order and trust among the citizens. What Gen Z protest movement known as Gen Z Murder have rejected without a blink. They tabled a 48-hour ultimatum for Rajoelina's departure from office. Matthew Perez for GBS News.
And now moving on, in a major legal rebuke to the Trump administration, a federal judge in Illinois has temporarily blocked the deployment of National Guard troops to Chicago and other parts of the state. The ruling underscores mounting judicial resistance to the use of military force in the domestic law enforcement operation. The Trump administration's rather plan to federalize and deploy National Guard troops in Illinois, ostensibly to assist with immigration enforcement and protect federal assets, has been halted for now by Judge April Perry, who called the administration evidence inadequate and warned of escalating tensions. On October 9th, Judge April Perry granted a 14th-day temporary restraining order blocking the federalization or deployment of National Guard troops within Illinois. She ruled there was no credible evidence of a rebellion in the state justifying military intervention. Moreover, she warned that introducing troops could add fuel to the fire amid existing tensions around immigration enforcement.
An important decision not just for the state of Illinois, but for the entire country. The question of state sovereignty was addressed in this decision. The judge has ordered that the National Guard of the United States, whether they're from Texas or any other one of the 50 states, should not be deployed within the state of Illinois. So it is up to the defendants to make certain that they...
Let's take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We will be right back.
Welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. So kids, are you ready to listen to our today's Bible story? Are you ready to listen?
You're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands.
Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Between a want or a need, which one is more wise?
I'm your host, the most Irene Jugena.
SK the DJ hapa aka the Mix Wizard.
Nataka kurap,
Nataka kuimba, nataka kudance.
Give me a chance, mini dreamer.
You're a COVID baby. COVID will give birth to you.
Yo lockdown kukaa ndani na my thoughts kulock in. Kanibadilisha.
Ni setback gani umeface like in the industry kutoka 2020, 5 years ago mpaka sahi?
The first one ilikuwa kujifunza kurap. Wase wa appreciate bars, wa appreciate lines. Like hii ni kitu tunatakingi time kuandika.
Sometimes na wonder ka God na exist juu life manzeni moto.
Yeah.
Mbono na acha your daughters and sons wa dedi kwa moto. I like to think through things before nifanye. Gani na make sense to me, see according to the rules. This song, it was like a personal prayer. And it was through the things I faced at that time. Mimi, I'm a versatile artist. First of all, I don't like to call myself a rapper. Neither do I call myself a singer. I call myself an artist or a musician. Napenda ku try out new things just to bora ni bring up kale ka vibe yenye unaweza sikiza, unaweza bambika na bado unaweza pata kitu from the song. Unaweza ku live a different person after umesikiza.
Everywhere, GBS.
Now welcome back to the bulletin, and here at GBS TV Africa we make your news our business. And now moving on, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has hailed the Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal as a desperately needed breakthrough, praising the diplomatic efforts behind it and urging all sides to seize the moment to turn the truce into lasting peace. Here are the details.
The UN chief applauded the diplomatic efforts by the United States, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey in securing a ceasefire and the release of hostages, calling it a vital step toward ending the bloodshed.
I welcome the announcement last night of an agreement to secure a ceasefire and hostage release in Gaza, based on the proposal put forward by President Donald J. Trump. And I commend the diplomatic efforts of the United States, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey in brokering the desperately needed breakthrough. We have all waited far too long for this moment. Now we must make it truly count. I urge all parties to fully abide by the terms of the agreement and to fully embrace the opportunities it presents. All hostages must be released in a dignified manner. A permanent ceasefire must be secured. The bloodshed must stop once and for all. And the United Nations will provide its full support.
Guterres affirmed that the United Nations is ready to act immediately with food, medical supplies, and shelter materials already in the place to support civilians once access is granted.
We and our partners are prepared to move now. We have the expertise, the distribution networks, the community relationships in place to act. Supplies are in place and our teams are on standby. We can scale up food, water, medical and shelter assistance at once. But to turn this ceasefire into real progress, we need more than the silencing of the guns. We need full, safe and sustained access for humanitarian workers, the removal of red tape and impediments, and the rebuilding of shattered infrastructure.
He urged all sides to fully comply with the agreement and use this momentum to pursue a permanent ceasefire, a two-state solution, a long-term stability across the Middle East.
A path towards ending the occupation recognizing the right to self-determination of the Palestinian people and achieving a two-state solution, a path to a just and lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians, and to wider peace and security in the Middle East.
Emphasizing the power of diplomacy, Guterres reminded the world that true solutions comes from negotiation, not violence, and called on member states to fully fund humanitarian operations to sustain peace efforts.
And we need member states to ensure that humanitarian operations are properly funded to meet the immense needs. We must never forget the unbearable human cost of this conflict. I mourn all of the lives lost, including United Nations personnel and humanitarian workers, and pay tribute to our colleagues who continue to serve with courage and compassion in conditions of extreme risk. This breakthrough shows us the power and potential of diplomacy. Let it be a reminder that the solutions to conflicts are not found on the battlefield. They must be forged at the negotiating table. And then, crucially, they must be fully implemented. The world is watching.
For Israelis and Palestinians alike, Guterres says this movement must mark not just the silence of guns, but the dawn of peace.
For Israelis and Palestinians alike, this deal offers a glimmer of relief. And that glimmer must become the dawn of peace, the beginning of the end of this devastating war. I urge all to seize this momentous opportunity to establish a credible political path forward.
Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Minor.
It's time for your most favorite segment of the bulletin, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And now to sports news. Scotland continued their impressive World Cup qualifying campaign with a 3-1 victory over Greece in Glasgow on Thursday night, despite falling behind to a second-half goal from Costa Timicas. Steve Clark's side responded with character and quality as Ryan Christ, Lewis Ferguson, and Leydon Dux all found the net to maintain Scotland unbeaten run in Group C. In front of packed crowd at Hampden Park, Scotland faced a stern test against a determined Greek side. And once again, they delivered, despite a Navy second half that saw the visitors break the deadlock. Steve Clark mentioned exactly why they remain one of the form teams in the World Cup qualifying. The response was swift and decisive. Scotland hit back to level the score, igniting belief across the stadium. With momentum on their side, they pushed forward and the comeback was complete, but they weren't done yet, rather. In Sportage time, the result was put beyond doubt. It was a performance full of character and resilience. And now, Kenya's Harambee Stars have once again shown their growing strength in the continental stage after edging out Burundi with a narrow but impressive 1-0 victory in an international friendly match played in Bujumbura. The match, which was played in Bujumbura, has placed Kenya's national team in the limelight ahead of African Cup of Nations, as Davis Karani now reports.
The match played under humid evening conditions saw the Stars dominate possessions from the first whistle with crisp passing, coordinated pressing and attacking flair that left the home side on the back foot. Michael Ogada Olunga, the ever-reliable captain, led from the front, troubling Burundi's defense with his movement and strength.
Very difficult game to play, especially under the conditions, the pitch, the temperatures, of course. But look, our team, we tried to contain Burundi as much as possible, and we knew it was going to be a physical game, and I believe that was their tactic. And yes, physicality is allowed in football, but not aggressive physicality. So every challenge they complained to the referee, everything, every loose ball, they wanted it. So it wasn't a game to enjoy. And for us, we are happy with the 3 points, we are happy with the 1-0.
Mimi kwangu, mechi ya wachezaji wangu, napaswa kusema wamefanya mechi nzuri. Lakini siwezi nikasema wamefanya mechi nzuri kwa sababu Warundi hawakuwa wanachunga mechi nzuri. Warundi walikuwa wakichunga ushindi na ushindi hatukupata.
The breakthrough came in the 67th minute when Kenya's midfielder Richard Odada unleashed a stunning low drive from outside the box, beating the Burundian keeper to seal the win for Kenya. Kenya's defense, marshaled by Daniel Anyembe and Joseph Okumu, stood firm, ensuring the hosts never found their rhythm, despite late pressure in the dying minutes. Fans back home have lauded the team growing chemistry and renewed sense of purpose under the coach, with many describing the performance as a sign of bright future for Kenya's football.
Today was a very tough match. First, because of the conditions. For us, we are not used to playing on a pitch, a surface like this. So, from the beginning, it makes it really hard to play the way we want to play. So, yeah. So that made it very tough for us to play to the rhythm that we know we can play. And then also, in the first minute, when you suffer, your goalkeeper receive medical attention where he has a 5-inch cut above his eye, which for me was very dangerous.
With confidence high and momentum building, Harambee Stars now looks ahead to the tougher challenges, but for now, it is smiles all around after a well-earned victory in Bujumbura. Davis Karani for GBS News, Bujumbura.
We have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Paul Mathenge. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Alan Kiama. Have a good night.
Everywhere, GBS.